Hello, everybody. Welcome to IST 110. I'm, of course, Professor S, and this is today's class. There we go. So what we're going to do today is talk a little bit about the group project that had something due today. Then we'll talk about the next class, and then I'll finish talking about contributing to the lectures. So anyways, the group project. So today, or this class, you had do the reference thing. So make sure you do the peer evaluations. By the time that this is recorded, that there will still be time to do the peer evaluations. You'll probably get late credit, but it's still possible. For final product, make sure that you remove student names and descriptions from the references and you make everything alphabetical. And also in the document itself, make sure you include in-text citations. We'll talk more about the group project well, I mean, we've talked about it a bunch lately, but remember that the goal is you're coming up with a video, and then right after it, you'll have a paper due. And so when I'm talking about the in-text citations, that's for the paper, and you'll also include references in the paper as well. All right, so anyways, next class, we have a guest speaker. It's going to be in a different Zoom room, and I'll make an announcement as to where that is. Probably the day of. It will just be. I'll make an announcement of it. And she is the CEO of Technology Concept Group International, and she'll be talking to us about the necessary inclusion, embracing the changing faces of technology. So it should be pretty an interesting talk. And again, that'll be at a different Zoom room, but at the same time as classes normally held. And again, I'll put that link in an announcement soon. All right, so anyways, let's finish up talking about the stuff for this chapter. And the thing that I want to talk about is cloud computing. So the importance of cloud computing is in providing computing services over the internet, right? That's what cloud computing is. It's still kind of a relatively new thing, but it's, well, anyways, it just comes in 3 flavors. And we're going to look at each one of these, starting with infrastructure as a service. So this is mostly for IT administrators. And the importance of this is that it provides the computing infrastructure. So mostly what that means is storage and network. And it helps with similar services such as security and database, but it's mostly to provide the infrastructure that a company might need that the IT administrators use. So they're in charge of a bunch of different things, but the idea is like, so with startup companies and other well, not just startup companies, but a lot of companies, what they will need is they'll need computing power, but it doesn't make the most sense to just buy a bunch of computers to make it happen, right? In order to like service a bunch of people, instead of buying all these computers to run the business, sometimes it's easier to rent the servers out. So it's that source, or it's that service. It's a service that they can use. Because when you have your own servers, you have to worry about buying the equipment, setting up the equipment, running the equipment, paying people to pay attention to it. It gets really expensive fast. And if you're growing, like especially if you're a startup and you need an infrastructure. One of the great things about this cloud computing types of service is that it allows scaling, right? So you can be pretty small and it will charge for the amount that you use it, right? Which is different than if you bought the servers yourselves. You'd have that flat fee of whatever that is, right? It doesn't matter how much business you get. So the idea is like, think about it this way too. If your company needs that infrastructure, if it's a constant stream, might not be as for you. But if it's going all over the place, if it's low, you don't need as much, so you won't pay as much. But if it's high, it will be covered, and you'll get you'll pay for what you need essentially. And so it's very attractive, and it's not just for startups. Like I keep saying that it's startups, but it's not just for startups. Like for instance, Amazon Web Services (AWS) is a popular example on this sort of service that provides user with a direct access to resources that enables users to configure and scale the underlying system as needed. So Netflix uses AWS as an underlying infrastructure to provide scalability, distributed streaming, video services to consumers. Other examples are Cisco Metapod, Microsoft Azure, DigitalOcean, and Google Compute Engine. And probably also Salesforce, because Salesforce does everything. It's the first computing. But it's kind of hard. Like maybe I shouldn't have given Salesforce as an example, because Salesforce offers like everything down the line, including platform as a service. So the idea behind platform as a service is that it's for software developers. So it's primarily for software developers. So the idea behind this is it provides a platform over the internet for people to develop, test, and deploy custom web applications. So the benefits of it is the same as the infrastructure, right? Because it's a place to provide storage and provide, you don't have to worry about maintaining it. It can grow as you grow. But it also can make things a little easier because it's more accessible. The programming is more accessible. You don't have to be as strong of a programmer oftentimes to use these services. But it helps provide the service. And so a benefit also to this is that it makes collaboration easier. So more people can kind of work on developing a program together through this service. The last example is the software as a service, and this is the most common for users. Okay, so the idea behind this is like anybody can use this. Instead of running software on a computer, clients run software on internet, right? So there's tons of examples of this. It has all the same benefits as the PaaS, as a platform as a service, but it's also ease of use. You don't have to manage software as much. In fact, oftentimes what that means is you just open up the web service and go, right? So think about the last time you had to worry about a update for Canvas. You didn't have to install anything. You just use Canvas. Office 365 is considered as one of those. Netflix is one of those. There's so many examples of it. Like if you've used it, if you use some sort of cloud service, it was probably software as a service. So one of the things that I think is a common misconception with the different cloud services is the cloud services that might provide storage. So if you think about Microsoft OneDrive, that's the thing that's coming to mind off the top of my head. I mean, that's oftentimes that could be tied with other Microsoft products. But Microsoft OneDrive is a thing that allows you to store things on it. So other examples are like Box, just thought of that. So even though you may think that might be a infrastructure as a service because you're using their infrastructure to just store your things and you're not really using software, it's still really more of software as a service because you're not having to worry about getting the files on there. They provide this thing that I'm trying to say is they provide the ease of use to use their service. So even though you might not think you're using their software to do it, you definitely are using their software to use their service. So that's definitely more of an example of software as a service. And again, the infrastructure as a service is it requires more interactivity, more management than just dragging files and putting it in a folder. Okay. The last thing I want to kind of emphasize, and I think I've talked about this before, is the server-client architecture. So just as a reminder, a server is a system that provides services such as internet access, email, file, printing service, yada, yada, yada. But the point is that the server is what connects things together. So if you're interacting with a server, you're using a client. The client is the systems that connect to the server. Sometimes we may refer to as a computer as a client. We could refer to a software application as a client. It's the thing that's talking with the server. The server is a computer, and you don't really directly talk with you don't directly use the server to use the server. Usually, if you're using the server, it's going to be through the client. The people that might use the server, like interact with the server directly, are the people managing it. But the purpose of the server is to be used with a client. All right, so anyway, some reminders before I go is the peer evaluations. They are, be aware of the peer evaluations that are due. And just so you know, there's going to be points off if you don't enter IDs correctly. That, as a reminder, it's got to be the email. So if without the @psu.edu. So if, for instance, mine is kxs456@psu.edu. And so I would enter, if I was entering my name or somebody was entering my ID, they'd just do kxs456. Okay? It's not the number that's on on people's cards. It's this here. And if you do this, then you're going to get, if you don't do this, you're going to get points taken off. The reason being is that I have to go through these and sift through them and correct them when they're wrong. And it's just a long and tedious process. Please don't do this. I'm behind in entering these grades, and I'm really sorry about that. Things like getting quiz grades out takes precedence because the peer evaluations don't make as much of the grade. But they will be out there, and if you don't enter things correctly, you're not going to get as full points. Okay? And also as a reminder, guest speaker on Wednesday, and right after that guest speaker, I'll open up the quiz, and it'll be good. Okay? I think that's good for now. I'll see you all on, I'll see you Wednesday. Bye. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please press the like button. It lets me know I'm doing something right. If you have any questions about any of the content, please send an email through Canvas to me and the rest of the teaching team, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Do not send it through normal email. You will not get as fast response. These are COVID times, so it could take a little bit, but we will get back to you, I promise. Anyways, if you have any suggestions for how I can make these videos better, please leave in the comments below. Don't forget to roundhouse kick the subscribe button and ring the bell to get notified for when I post the next video. Anyway, I think that's good for now. I'll see you all next class.